So welcome back to the channel. Just thought I've built the Mobula Delta Wing by Atomrc or Eachine, depending on where you get it from. Thought I'd just give a quick overview of the build. So I don't know if you can see, I've laminated just the bottom of the wing, just because it's so wet and muddy everywhere. Thought it'd give the wing a bit more stiffness. A couple of bits, minor points, but you can see here that's not where I've melted it with the iron. Just so the moulding wasn't quite formed right, but the moulding is generally pretty good. The other thing I noticed is I've got EMAX, I think they're ES08MDii servos, which are a perfect snug fit in the servo holes, but actually the hole here for the horn was too far across one side, so I've had to just trim one side off that to give it some room. Also, even though I've put this on the second hole down on the horn and the top hole on the back, when it was pressed down, you can see, I don't know if it's coming out in the camera, I've had to just melt a little channel in the wing because the rod was getting stuck on the wing. So we'll see. There's obviously quite a lot of throw on that, but I can't move those any lower or any higher on the back, so we'll see how that goes. Inside, loads of room. GPS goes in here. I haven't glued that in because it sticks in quite firmly. You can see I've got a F411-WSE in the bottom. Crossfire. I've run the wire antenna in a sort of L shape here, which for the range I'm going to do this would be great. Fine. And then I've got a Tank Ulitmate with an Axii side feed in the wing. And I've just put a couple of strips of laminate over the wing joins, really just to cover up where I've cut this channel in the wing, to be honest. But yeah, plenty of room. What I did find, if I get a battery, I've put the batteries in my bag ready to go to the flying field. You'll see at the front here, I have just cut out a bit more foam on this side where my finger is, so I can fit an 850 milliamp 4S. Needs to be right at the front to balance, and that's with a T-Motor F220 3.5 2850 kV motor on the back. Alternatively, you can see the lines here, and that balances with a 1550 R-line 4S about there, and then a 1300 6S Hydron pack here, slightly further back. I don't know if that'd be too much weight, but we'll give it a go. Overall, pretty straightforward build. Plenty of room in the bay. Somebody asked me about the bay measurements, so the bay is, just in case you're wondering, bad camera angle, but I can tell you it is 70 mil wide. It is 35 mil deep, but the lid does curve up, so you get a little bit more room in the centre. And then it's, I've actually measured it, it's 180 millimeters long. It does taper down to 40 mil wide at the front from about 80 mil from the back, if you're wondering what size. Somebody wanted to know how many lithium ions you could fit in it. So just as an idea, that is a 4S 1p pack, obviously. So you could fit 6 in there. The lid, you'd probably have to start chopping some bits out of the lid, but in terms of weight wise, I think it's there's going to be pretty heavy for the wing. I think you might get away with 4, 3 would probably be ideal. And then what else to say? Plenty of room for the ESC in the back. I've got a Tekko 35 amp in there. No worries at all. There's airflow that comes in through the vent on the top of the lid, and we'll go back down through that hole there, and then obviously come out, and I've put, you probably can't see through there, a heat sink on the ESC, but quite good size amount of room. I'll measure the ESC bay and stick that on the video, and we'll take it out to the field and see how it flies. I'm back from the flight field. I thought I'd sort of give you my thoughts before I show you the footage of the video, rather than make you watch a load of flying and then get to the points at the end. So a couple of things. First of all, because I didn't have the battery earlier, this is what I was talking about. This is the 850 4S. You can see it pushes it into the nose, so I've cut out this foam here. I had to do that to be able to hit CG, and that's with the F2203.5 motor on the back. Clearly I could have put the VTX and things further forward to sort of not make it quite so nose heavy, but I also wanted to be able to run a bigger pack. With the R-line 1550, it hits CG about here. Couldn't really notice the difference between flying the two packs, I'll be honest. So, you know, I think it's fine with this bigger pack. Stall speed might be slightly higher, but potentially if you wanted to give up being able to fly it as a really lightweight wing, you could put a bigger motor, a 2207 or a 2306 on it without any difficulty at all, and run this pack slightly further forward. Equally, I think, you know, it would take 4S line no problem at all. Other things to mention are, I was pretty confident. I always take the hatch down or put a catch on. I say always, obviously this time I didn't. Schoolboy error, the hatch blew off. The first time I hit sort of just over 80 miles an hour. There is a big air intake on it. The magnets were pretty strong and it's quite a stiff fit, so I really thought that was going to be okay. It wasn't. Unfortunately, if it would cut it in half, at least I could have glued it back together. Instead it just shredded this end, so those were tiny little pieces fluttering down, so I'm going to have to probably 3D print the back half of the canopy and glue it on, but I'll find a way to fix that. Other things to mention were the manual does say that you don't need any reflex because it's built into the wing, but there is quite an angle on the motor mount, so which is obviously going to, I don't know if it's hard to tell where it's level and look at the angle of the motor, but I just wasn't confident, so I did add sort of a mil or two of reflex each side. It actually wasn't needed. I ended up trimming that out, so I think you're probably good to go on the CG. What else can I say about it? Tried, well, kind of really abused it. Didn't get a chance to do an auto trim because, an auto tune, because it was pretty windy, too windy to Maiden, a lightweight 65 centimetre wing really, but flew pretty nicely on sort of the stock PIDs. It could definitely be improved. There was quite a bit of wag in the wind, but I think that's to be expected. Strangely, despite the wag, it still felt quite confident in the air. I felt like I was quite happy flying inverted, fairly low to the ground, hitting gaps. In terms of stall characteristics, I thought I'd see sort of how it stalled and if it would drop the nose or dip a wing. I think it dropped to sort of 6 miles an hour. It was into a headwind, so I don't know what the wind was, but let's say, you know, it was probably equivalent of 10 miles an hour, so sort of 16 miles an hour. And it did drop a wing pretty violently, and I wasn't high enough to be able to pull out, so it took quite a nosedive. Also there was a couple of failed launches. I tried auto launch on the stock settings, wasn't quite right, but that was with the lighter battery in, but that took it fine. In terms of weight, as this build is, it's coming in at 259 grams. With the 4S 850 pack, that puts it to 362 grams, and then all up weight with the 1550 pack is 435 grams, and you know, flew great with both packs on. What else can I say about it? The roll rate, fantastic, really quick, sort of up there with the Ripper for anybody that's flown that. Turns on a dime, really responsive. Really fun to fly around. You can cruise on sort of, I think I was cruising at maybe 45 miles an hour under 4 amps, and then full throttle with this motor and prop setup. I was pulling sort of 22 amps. I mean, the flight controller, I haven't calibrated the current sensor at this point, but it's probably not too far off. So that was 22 amps, about 80 miles an hour, I think. And with that, I'll leave you to watch some of the flight footage. Thanks for watching. Cheers.